it's heavy. I gotta carry so much weight.
The weight of a life on the streets.
Sometimes I'll miss meals and stuff because it's just too much weight to get there.
And the weight of a life on her back. Now at 6, some relief in an ever-increasing challenge for Portland's homeless. Walking out of the Capitol and into court, the fate of an Oregon law to crack down on politicians who refuse to show up. And live from Timberline, just in time for the holidays, it's a tree lighting on Mount Hood. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Brittany Folgers, and we begin here at 6 with Portland's homeless crisis. With rules and restrictions around unsanctioned camping adding up, many people on the streets are struggling to find a safe place to leave their things. A new storage space just opened up in Old Town with the goal of helping out. As Blair Best reports, it's giving people much more than just a place to put their belongings.
Daniela and Mitchell are used to watching the city pass them by,
Constantly feel stuck.
as their every move is calculated.
And it's heavy. I gotta carry so much weight. Sometimes I'll miss meals and stuff because it's just too much weight to get there.
I mean, nobody wants to carry around everything they have on their back, you know?
Some relief is finally here. Across the street on Northwest 5th and Gleason is a new place for homeless people to store their things during the day.
Kind of lighten the burden too.
It opened this week. John was one of the first to take part.
Just dropping off a few clothes, like just things that I don't want to have to tote around during the day.
Giving him the freedom to take on other tasks.
Going to the Central City Employment Center, take care of that. Dentist appointment, I gotta find a dentist.
The city of Portland hired Central City Concern to run the new storage space. It's open 7 days a week from 7 in the morning to 8 at night. Outreach workers will be on site 2 days a week, connecting people with services.
Having this storage environment just a block away is really an answer to our prayers.
Scott Kerman runs Blanchet House, a popular day center in Old Town.
I think it's going to be a much more dignified environment for people to store their belongings, which is really crucial.
Now this green shipping container under the steel bridge and along the waterfront is where homeless people used to store their things. But now it's upgraded to that larger building in Old Town. And come December 18th, this will no longer be here.
A handwritten sign warns people that they have less than a week to move their things.
It used to just be bags in a cubicle. Now they give you a container to put it in, but the container happens to be a garbage can.
So anything that can relieve stress off the community would probably help.
Now let's not forget that with that old storage facility here along the waterfront came drug use and lots of unsanctioned camping. So people are hoping that won't be the case with the new site. Seen as Central City Concern will be helping the homeless people there, offering people low barrier job opportunities. And again, there will be outreach teams on site. Brittany.
All right, Blair, thank you. And now to a look at some of your headlines tonight. Protesters calling for a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas blocked the Burnside Bridge earlier this evening. The protest was led by the group Jewish Voice for Peace, who believe Palestine should be liberated. They also lit a large menorah to mark the 8th night of Hanukkah.
We are here as Jews lighting this menorah behind us to say that we are not afraid as Jews to speak out for Palestine, because we know that is in our bones from our ancestors, that is what is right, to speak out against genocide.
Along with the growing calls for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza, Israeli leaders have said they'll continue to fight until Hamas releases all hostages and is no longer in power. The political fate of 8 Republican Oregon senators is now in the hands of the state Supreme Court. Justices will decide the meaning of Measure 113, Oregon's anti-walkout measure. Republican senators are challenging the Secretary of State's ruling that they should be barred from the upcoming term. Their argument relies on a legal loophole, the actual wording of Measure 113. They believe any ban from office should take effect years from now and that the ballot explanations were misguided.
These were just explanatory tools, and you know what? They were wrong. The arguments in the ballot title sold this measure based on certain assumptions that were wrong.
The Secretary of State says that their taking of a literal stance on the wording would undermine voter intent. Immediate punishment for walking off the job. The Supreme Court is expected to rule by sometime in February, if not before. One man is dead in a shooting in southeast Portland. This happened early this morning by Southeast Bush and 166th. The shooting call came from an apartment in the area. The victim did die at the hospital. When officers got to the scene, the shooter was gone. No arrests so far. The man accused in a record-setting fentanyl ring bust in Portland has been arrested again. You see, police arrested Luis Funes the first time last week following a raid. He was released and then did not show up to a subsequent court date. He was then rearrested last night and then arraigned this morning. Funes, pleaded not guilty. His bond is at $20,000. The bust, by the way, involved more than 52 pounds of powdered fentanyl. The Oregon State Beavers football team has released part of its 2024 schedule, and it includes a date with the Ducks. The rivalry game will happen on September 14th in Corvallis. There are also dates set for games against Washington State and Cal, and Oregon State also has an agreement to play against Mountain West teams since the Pac-12 is dissolving. 6 of those games, though, still need an exact date worked out. All right, let's take a live look now at Timberline from our Timberline Lodge Sky camera. It's an exciting night on the mountain because the resort is holding its tree lighting. Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino is up on the mountain for us for the big moment. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Brittany, that's right. And everybody here is gathered around the tree, around the fireplaces in the big living room here at Timberline Lodge, waiting to go. So we're not going to put this off any longer because we're going to light the tree, and then we have caroling. You wouldn't believe how great everybody here looks. I don't know how many people you can see, but we've got onesies, we've got Christmas sweaters, we've got smiles all around, we've got the big burning fire and the massive Timberline fireplaces that Santa actually comes down on Christmas Eve. So we got all that going on. We've got some tree lighters here. Are you guys ready to go? Should we count it down? Yeah. All right, here we go. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Light it up, kids. Oh, that is so good. I'm going to hand this off to the director of music, and we're going to sing some songs now. Let's do it.
All right. Okay, we want snow, right? Yeah. Right. So let's sing Let It Snow. Weather outside is frightful, and the fire is so delightful. And since there's no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Let us show signs of stopping, and I brought some corn for popping. And the lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I hate going out in the storm. But if you'll really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. While the fire is slowly dying, and I hear the still goodbye. As long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Thank you, everyone. You did a marvelous job. Excellent work.
Thanks, Timberline. Thanks, carolers. That was fantastic.
Thanks, everybody. If you'd like to help decorate the tree, we have some ornaments right here. We need a little help. Stay and sing some more carols, and just have a great night. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
I'd say overall, we were like the best. The projections, the emotion. Yeah. So much.
I don't think so. Are we clear, Martin?
That was awesome.
All right, you can tell Matt got a little carried away with the caroling there. Beautiful tree, just great community event. Love to see it. Okay, so federal regulators say that Starbucks illegally closed nearly 24 stores nationwide, and that includes 3 closures here in Portland. At the time, the company told us they closed these locations over safety concerns. Alma McCarty has been breaking this down, the complaint for us, and the effort to reopen these stores that closed, Alma.
Yeah, Brittany, the complaint was issued earlier this week by the Labor Board, and they basically allege that Starbucks closed 23 of its locations, including this one behind me in downtown Portland, due to union organizing. But the company says that's not the case. On Wednesday, a regional office of the National Labor Relations Board issued this complaint, arguing that Starbucks illegally closed nearly 24 stores, suppressing union activity. 3 of those stores named in the complaint were here in Portland, located at 4th and Morrison in Southwest, Gateway in Northeast, and Kearney Plaza in the Pearl. All 3 are still empty after more than a year, when the company announced the closure of 2 of them back in July 2022. Leaders cited safety concerns as a primary reason. And at the time, some customers didn't buy it.
I honestly think it's pretty safe.
The federal complaint also seeks to force Starbucks to reopen all the locations listed, a handful of which had unionized. A spokesperson for the union, Workers United, wrote in part that this complaint is the latest confirmation of Starbucks' determination to illegally oppose workers organizing. Starbucks sent us a statement in response to the complaint, saying it evaluates stores every year. Quote, this includes opening new locations, identifying stores in need of investment or renovation, exploring locations where an alternative format is needed, and, in some instances, reevaluating our footprint. An administrative law judge has yet to issue a decision on this specific matter. It's not the first time the Labor Board issued a complaint alleging illegal behavior.
Are you aware that NLRB judges have ruled that Starbucks violated federal labor law over 100 times during the past 18 months, far more than any other corporation in America?
Back in March, Senator Bernie Sanders questioned former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz on allegations that the company was breaking labor laws.
Sir, Starbucks Coffee Company unequivocally, and let me set the tone for this very early on, has not broken the law.
It will likely be a while until there is a decision. An administrative judge set a hearing date for next summer. Live in downtown Portland, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Thanks, Alma.